What's up guys, welcome. In this video I want to share with you guys 12 pieces of the worst art advice in the world. These are utter lies of immense deception, most commonly told to beginners to ensure that they never reach their goals. So be sure to take notes throughout this video, because if anybody ever tries to tell you one of these pieces of advice, you can tell them to take that advice and shove it right up their anus. Terrible art advice number one we have: it's just your style. There's nothing wrong with your art. I will literally see people saying this to other people while their art literally looks like this. Brother, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that is not a style. That is the result of a horrible car accident. I most often see people offer this piece of advice to other people as sort of a crutch to deal with a weakness in skill set. It is a very easy excuse to lean on to not have to learn something difficult, for example, anatomy, because now suddenly all of the mistakes and the inaccuracies in your drawing can be attributed to style as opposed to incompetence. Listen, and here's the thing, I'm not trying to talk down on anybody, because I personally fall into this trap as well. Sometimes I'll be making a drawing, and then when I get to the hand, I'm just like, I'm too lazy to do this, so I just throw it together like a pile of shit. And sometimes I find myself trying to convince myself, you know what, this is just a loose gestural style, it's just me. But no, we have to stop that. I find that it's actually much more helpful to just remind myself that, hey, like, we all make mistakes. Mistakes are okay, right? You're not going to be perfect each time, but it's okay as long as you're learning from these mistakes and actually growing from them as a result. And you accept that you don't know everything, you're not good at everything, but you're willing to work for it, eh? The second most terrible art advice of all time is when somebody, especially somebody online, tries to tell you definitively that you should or shouldn't go to art school. Either one of those. Now, why is this a problem? Well, I think nobody truly knows your own situation better than yourself. If you're a young artist and you are looking to have a career in art, there are so many factors for you to consider before deciding whether or not to go into art education. And some fool online is not going to know what's the best choice for you. Just like how I don't know, I can't tell you. In school, you have a structure that's forced upon you. You are surrounded by a lot of like-minded individuals, and you are also presented with a lot of opportunities that might not be otherwise available to you. When you think about it, it's kind of similar to prison. But on the other hand, you also have factors like very high tuition. You're probably going to go into debt for this. There's a lot of financial pressure. There's no guarantee of work on top of that. And you also might not be the type of person to really thrive in a school environment. You know, you could be just a little ball of fire, a really rambunctious little man. At the end of the day, this also depends entirely on the industry that you're trying to get into. So if you're somebody who's trying to decide whether or not to actually go to art school and get that education, my advice to you would be to find people who are working in the field that you actually want to work in. I want you to stalk them, find out everything about them. What path did they take? Did the people you look up to who are currently occupying the career that you want to occupy, did they go to school? If so, which school? But at the end of the day, that's a decision for you to make. Nobody online should be telling you definitively that art school is completely useless or it's completely mandatory. Listen, man, either way, whatever you choose, okay, you just have to make that decision for yourself. That's step one. And step two is you work really, really hard to make it the right one. Terrible advice number three: never copy. People genuinely say this shit. There are a lot of old school professors out there who want to be some sort of edgy cool guy who will tell you, hey, never copy anybody. Be original, man. Do your own thing. Well, guess what, Grandpa? Copying people is the best way to learn. This is, once again, working backwards from a formula that's already been solved for you. Look at an artist that's extremely skilled. The way they stylize their characters, the way they render their lights and shadows. This is all the result of thousands of hours of practice that they've put in and distilled down to this little gem. It's like a little infinity stone, and when you study the work of somebody like that, you are basically absorbing a little bit of the power of that stone. Look, if you don't believe me, okay, I bet you believe in the Renaissance artists, okay, the legends. Those artists were absolutely cracked, and do you know how they trained back then? They copied the works of their masters. They begin their entire artistic journey by replicating the works of those who came before. And if you like my art, guess what I did? I used to copy a bunch of artists when I was a kid, when I was taking art classes and art lessons back in China. And even today, guess what? I still copy. I see people's works that I like, and I'm like, maybe there's a thing or two here that I'll pick out that I'll incorporate into my future works. And I can promise you guys, every other artist that you guys look up to also has a list of artists that they admire and they look up to, and they regularly directly copy from. Nobody is original, okay? Everybody is a product of the influences that have influenced them. So next time an old dude tries to tell you to never copy, just tell him to shut the f. Number 4. Now I'm cheating a little bit here because this is not really a specific piece of advice, but this is critique from somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. I see this a lot in forum type places like Reddit or maybe even Discord, but here's the thing, okay, there's nothing wrong with wanting some critique. In fact, if you're an artist and you actually do want critique, I think that's a very good thing. You're an open-minded guy. But critique from people who genuinely don't know what the hell they're doing can sometimes actually set you back more than help you progress. There is a very relevant theory here called the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's basically a graph that shows you the level of confidence versus the level of competence. It's very often the case that somebody who just started a thing, who has a very low skill level, very low competence level, is super confident about themselves. They think they know everything. I see this happening all the time where the person giving the critique is genuinely less skilled and less knowledgeable than the person who's asking for critique. Oftentimes, the person who's putting themselves out there and asking for critique, they have a lower confidence level because they've moved further along on the competence level. They have a higher skill set. And guess how I know this? I used to be the exact same way. When I drew in my sketchbook, wasting hours and hours without using references, without actually studying the works of other people, I thought I was the best. I thought I didn't need to learn from anybody else. In my mind, I genuinely did everything right and everybody else was wrong. And look at me now. I've grown so much that everybody else is now right and I'm always wrong. So moral of the story is you got to really make a decision for yourself and be careful and selective in who you open your brain up to. Terrible art advice number 5 that I've actually heard people say to other people is you need to be talented to do art. God, you disgust me. My entire understanding of talent is it's just a measure of how fast and how easy you can pick up a subject. That's it. If somebody is high talent and they put in no work, 10 times out of 10, they're going to be outcompeted by somebody who is medium to low talent, but puts in a lot of work. I think I remember very, very early on when I just started learning digital art, Cynics was a huge inspiration to me. And if my Unc memory serves me right, I think he started pretty late and he didn't start off being the most talented artist. But oh my lord, he put in so much hard work and the results speak for themselves. He's now become one of the best. Every time I make one of these videos, I'm trying to dispel this misconception because for some reason, talent just always gets tied with art. Does it play a role? Of course it does, okay? If you have more talent, obviously you're going to grasp things a lot quicker. You're going to learn things a lot faster. It's going to be easier for you. But just because maybe you're starting off with your settings on hard mode doesn't mean that you can never achieve the level of work of the artist that you actually look up to. Listen, here's a hypothetical scenario, okay? Unc is on his deathbed, okay? I have 2 nephews in front of me. One of them is 10 out of 10 very talented, but never puts in the work. And the other one, okay, maybe 4 out of 10 talented. He doesn't start off gifted, but damn, that boy works like 12 hours a day and he just loves his craft. Which one of these nephews am I going to pick to be my successor? 10 times out of 10, it's the one with 4 out of 10 talent, but more dedication. Terrible art advice number 6 that I absolutely despise. Using references is cheating and you should draw from imagination. I'm not even going to get into this, okay? I talk about this every single time. Using references is the only way that you add new information into your mental library. Using references is the only way you learn about how something actually looks. And until you know the way something actually looks, you will never be able to draw that thing accurately from your imagination, right? Common sense, right? Genuinely, if somebody ever gives you this piece of advice, if somebody ever tries to tell you that using references is cheating, boy, you cannot trust that person. That person is incompetent, unqualified, the worst. I use references. Every pro artist uses references. Take full advantage of references and never be ashamed of trying to learn what the actual thing looks like. Terrible art advice number 7, draw, insert word that people like. Now, I see this with social media a lot these days. Every kid that just popped out of their mom is trying to grow on social media and they're all asking for advice and people keep telling them to draw this or draw that because people like this, people like that, this is popular. But look, call me old school, call me Unc, but one of my core beliefs is that good art, genuinely good art, is art made from your soul for yourself. I've made a lot of drawings and I've shared a lot of my drawings with you guys, and from all of my experience, making art that speaks to you and that you actually genuinely want to make, that channels a level of passion into the final result that other people can actually sense. Some of my best pieces that I've ever made were pieces that I felt something for, pieces that I was actually really invested in. If you keep making this thing and chasing the approval of other people, even though you're not that passionate about it, guess what's going to happen eventually? Your spark, it's just going to go out. It's going to go out like a big fart in the wind. That's you. That's your little spark. It's gone. We need more passion. We need more aggression. We need more dedication. Now, of course, this is more philosophical, right? And this kind of depends on you to also figure yourself out. You got to know, what are you truly passionate about? What are the things that you actually like to draw? And you know what? If you like to draw that thing, okay? Even if you feel like it's not going to be the most popular, if you pour your heart into it, I promise you people are going to notice. Don't extinguish your spark for creation just because of an algorithm that was made by Mark Zuckerberg. Look at him. You want him to extinguish your artistic spark? This cockroach? Terrible art advice number 8. Art is subjective and you do not need to follow the rules. Look, it's actually partially true, okay? Art is subjective and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Not everybody is going to gravitate towards the same style and the same type of art. But the rules that we use today, like for example, the Loomis head method or the space between the eyes, these are all tried and true methods that actually provide a lot of value when it comes to making your art look better. Art is subjective and you don't always need to follow the rules. You can break the rules, but it's as the old saying goes, you need to know the rules before you break them. If you don't know the rules, what are you really breaking here? I mean, seriously, what are we breaking, right? The only thing that you're really breaking is my heart, because boy, you had so much potential, but you chose failure. To me, again, I hate it when people give others this piece of advice, because it's just like giving somebody a crutch to say, hey, like just dodge the responsibility of learning this thing. Instead of learning the three-dimensional structure of the head, just understand that art is entirely subjective and the rules don't have to apply to you. Next thing you know, your drawing looks like Sid. Number 9 on our list of terrible art advice is you should sell it. Thanks, capitalism. I see this BS way too often. It's like as soon as somebody attains a certain level of skill, everybody around them is just pushing them to monetize their work, sell their work, make some money from their work. Why not? You're so good. Here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with monetizing. That's a perfectly valid path that you can go down, but ask yourself first, why do you do art? Is this a passion for you? Is it a hobby that brings you a lot of joy and it's something that maybe you would want to keep separate from your work life? If that's the case, if art is where you go to escape, then by all means do not monetize it. There's so many cases with artists where the process of trying to monetize their work changes their relationship with art. They no longer see it as a thing that brings them peace and joy, but instead it brings them stress and sadness. But again, this entirely depends on you, and I cannot tell you what to do and what not to do. If your goal is to eventually have this as a career, then it would be wise to start thinking about ways that you could monetize your art. If you're okay with changing your relationship with art in that way, then yeah, go for it. But be very careful with this piece of advice and never assume that as soon as you make something, you have to sell it. Number 10, when somebody tries to tell you to stop drawing blank all the time. I hate this one. This is foolish, again, especially if drawing blank makes you fulfilled. Believe it or not, in many cases in the professional industry, there are certain artists who are actually known for specific things because they always draw that thing. There are character artists who get to work on some of the biggest films in the industry because all they draw is characters. That is their specialty. There are background artists, again, who do the exact same thing. They never touch a portrait because their specialty is in backgrounds. And backgrounds probably brings them more joy than trying to figure out the proportions of the face. These artists actually become experts in their specific field because they drew the same thing over and over again and built up a tremendous level of skill. Now, when you're learning, of course, it is helpful to branch out and experiment a little bit and see what you like and what you don't like. You should always try to step out of your comfort zone. But again, it's not up to somebody else to try to tell you what you can and cannot draw, what you should or should not draw. The bottom line is you're just one person. And if somebody else doesn't want to see you draw the same thing over and over again, they can go look at somebody else's work for their desire to see another thing instead of trying to force their opinion on you. You're making art for yourself. If you want to specialize in something, specialize in that thing. You're not obligated to be a jack of all trades. Do experiment, try things out, but know that at the end of the day, nobody else should be able to project what they want to see onto the work that you want to make. Unless they're paying you, of course. Money talks. Capitalism. Number 11, draw every day. Now, this advice actually does have the right intention. It's basically saying you got to be consistent and you got to put in the volume. But some people take this advice way too literally and end up burning themselves out because of it. Overworking yourself, overextending yourself can quickly lead to burnout. And again, burnout could change your relationship with art. My advice to you guys is to find a pace that you can actually maintain, a pace that you can keep going for a very long time. And then I want you to do it very consistently. Anything works. Look, if it's every other day, 3 times a week, or 4 times a week, whatever fits into your life. You also generally shouldn't feel the pressure to quote unquote outwork someone who's drawing more than you. Because in my opinion, if you're trying to actually improve as an artist, 1 hour of solid reference studies is worth more and will do more for your progress than 5 hours of incoherent doodling without a reference, right? So it's not always about quantity, it's also about quality. And if you can get the high quality studies in and fit it into a schedule that works for you, that you can do consistently, and again, I'm not talking about months, I'm talking about years, something that you can keep going for many years. If it works for you, then it works for you. It takes time and it takes a lot of patience, but it's such a rewarding journey. Last but not least, number 12, this is one of my personal pet peeves, and I see this all the time. You don't need to learn the fundamentals for blank. Like, hey, here's how to draw anatomy without having to learn any fundamentals. Here's how to color your drawings without having to learn any fundamentals. Or something like, oh, you don't actually need to learn perspective to draw backgrounds. Here's an easy method how. What are you talking about? You're driving me insane. What are you talking about? Hold up. Sorry guys, it was getting hot. I was starting to sweat. Now this is a classic short-term instant gratification type of thinking. Like, oh hey, instead of putting in so many hours, here's one quick method that you can use to not have to learn your fundamentals. But here's a reality check, okay? It's never gonna work. It's like building skyscrapers on sand. The higher you try to build, the deeper you're gonna sink. You don't have the foundations. You need the foundations. Look, if you're trying to learn something like, let's say anatomy, for example, okay, and you've got people trying to tell you that you don't need the fundamentals, you just need this one simple trick. First of all, you tell them to leave. Second of all, learn the actual structures of the body. Learn the bone structure, right? Where's the rib cage? What does the rib cage look like? Where's the pelvis? What does it look like? How are our femurs connected into the pelvic bones? What does your skull look like beneath the face, right? These are all things that you should understand, things that you should have a grasp of. And then on top of that, you can start to explore the shapes of the muscles, which muscles are placed where on the body. Like, yes, I admit it is a slow process, and in this day and age, everybody wants quick results. But unfortunately, art is a very backwards thing that you cannot speedrun. The best way to learn and improve is to build up your fundamental skills through a lot of repetition. Actually put in the hours, put in the work, actually learn. And yes, you got to stay very patient in doing so, because the progress can sometimes be invisible to you. You don't know that you've progressed and gotten better until you take a step back and look back at your work from like 2 years ago, and then you realize, oh my God, I was trash. You got to be patient with yourself, okay? You got to be patient and you got to be kind to yourself. Give yourself the time to grow. I promise you, with time, repetition, and good practice, you will be shocked at just how much better you will get. I promise you that. Anyways, guys, I feel like this is going to be a long video, but those are 12 of the worst pieces of art advice ever. Anybody ever tries to tell you these, you tell them that Uncle Sam said no. Subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more art-related content. I'm very happy that we just hit 2 million recently. Very thankful, very grateful that 2 million of you guys find me somewhat entertaining. Check out my Patreon if you guys want to see monthly tutorials. In our last tutorial, I actually talk a little bit about how to draw male versus female characters. So if you find that your males are super feminine or your females are super masculine, then maybe this is a good tutorial for you. That being said, thanks for watching all the way to the end, and I love you very much. Hope to see you on the next video. Jesus Christ!